Hi again. So, yeah. Uh, right back after some short shopping detour and eating food, dinner. Let's go on and get some work done. And I can't move my mouse. Great. That's interesting. Okay, there it is. Just had to replug the connector. So I do have a wireless mouse, but sometimes it still needs to reconnect after I'm away a little bit. But I'd say it's not good. It can be improved. I don't know why. I still like it. To have a wireless mouse. Because if it works really well. Yeah. So I'm not against wireless mouse. And I can just plug in a USB connector and use it while it's loading, and it's not loading long. The loading time's pretty short. So I remember the old times where you had mice that were wireless, and you had to plug in a battery into the mouse, and you if you shake the mouse, the battery could lose the connection to the metal connection there, because if you are a little bit more violent, it would easily go, and you had to always plug the battery out and replug it. It was horrible. And I also had a mouse with a battery at my own workplace, a Logitech mouse. That wireless mouse was actually good though, because the battery lasted for 2 months approximately. It was nice. I still would say it's better with a USB connector, because I can use this mouse for like 3 or 4 days without charging. And then I just plug it in and use it like a wired mouse. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I can just recommend having a wireless mouse, because it takes a little bit of stress away to always mess around with the cable on the mouse. Something that I've really found annoying with wired mouses, that you put your mouse on the desk and the mouse would still move a little bit. Just it's also a little bit annoying in gaming when you're trying to be precise, that you put the mouse down and it moves a tiny inch. Yeah. Okay, so let's look into Unity UI toolkit. And we just want to see if people actually use that and when they announced it. Yeah? And what is this for? Do we want to use this? And as I said, this is the first time that I stumbled upon the UI toolkit. I think I've heard about it, but didn't use it because it's brand new. It's completely new. So let's just, first of all, before I use it, just look up what it is about. And one thing I immediately see here, UXML documents, it's inspired by HTML and XML. Yeah? It's something that is more of off-putting to me, but for people who write who are in web development, if they read that, they will pretty much say, hey, cool, that's the same stuff that I'm working with. No, I'm not a fan of CSS, to be honest, but yeah. Now you might be saying why am I not a fan of CSS, XML, and HTML? Then look at web developers. When I was working in web development, I wasn't that hard into web development, but from what I get is that most people don't use HTML, XML, and CSS, but use toolkits that generate their code in these languages, in these text files, in these formats. We have to be careful here because the old HTML is not a programming language. Yeah, they would generate their text files and not work with CSS anymore because it would cause too much trouble. Yeah, and when I was programming it and just make a button work and put this there. You don't have what you see is what you get because you just code and then debug it, and that's just wrong. You do visual stuff and estimate the position, and that's wrong in some ways. It's cool for responsive design though, and for responsive design. Responsive design, having a control over the code is pretty useful, but you can just put them in panels and then in responsive design work with the panels themselves. So yeah, that it has a lot of limits. Okay, let's go on here. Bye. Keep talking. UI Toolkit is inspired by standard web technologies. If you have experience developing web pages or applications, your knowledge is transferable and the core concepts are familiar. Okay, yeah, okay, they can. Everything that I just said is in the documentation. This is exactly the same thing that they say. You can use UI Toolkit to develop custom UI extensions for the Unity editor, one-time debugging tools, and one-time UI for games and application. So I'm missing that they say you can use it for everything, because I don't want to have a bunch of different UI ways to do it. There's a lot of developers will disagree with that statement, and I'm completely fine with that. But I want one toolkit that is really well cared for, that is well developed, and that really works well. And I don't want to see the state that we are right now, where you have the UI toolkit and you have canvas element UI. You have this UI with canvas, and then you have another UI like this. This is the editor window UI, just done in code. You could argue that custom inspectors. Don't think I have any here. No. Oh yeah, no, I have custom inspector here. This is a UI. Now this is actually easy to generate, but you can go into more detail with that and make groups and functions in custom UI, custom inspector, and then you now have the new UI toolkit. And that's why I say, no, I don't like that. To have that many options for basically the same thing is a weakness inside the design. And then there's also extensions by people in the Unity asset stores that you could also use. So you have a whole bunch of sets just for UI. Yeah, and that's why I say I would like to have one system for all. And I think where they are right is they make it for extensions of for the Unity editor, one-time debugging tools, and one-time UI for the application. So this seems to be one UI for all. Yeah. Now Unity recommends you to use UI Toolkit for your new UI development projects. However, Unity UI, UGUI, and EMGUI are appropriate for certain use cases and are required to support deprecated projects. See comparison of UI systems in Unity. Oh, that's cool. That's actually pretty cool that they do that. Now, now we are more on board into getting what is this new next thing. Yeah, UI Toolkit is intended to become the recommended UI system for your new UI development projects. You can see that in the wording they choose on this page and the page before, it is not the current standard UI. It is recommended to become the next UI system. However, in the current release, UI Toolkit does not have some features that Unity UI, UGUI, and immediate module GUI, IMGUI support. UGUI and IMGUI are appropriate for certain use cases and are required to support legacy projects. The page provides a high-level feature comparison of UI Toolkit, UGUI, EMGUI, and their respective approaches to UI design. So, for what we are doing, we can immediately see in this table that they recommend us the UI Toolkit. What is Unity UI and GUI? What does it exactly mean? It's a set of tools for developing interfaces and games for games and applications. It is a game-based UI system that uses components and the game view to arrange, position, style, and user interfaces. You cannot use Unity UI to create or change user interfaces in the Unity editor. I think they added this sentence. You can also look, there's suspiciously 2 spaces in here, like somebody added this sentence recently. Let's go back and confirm that. Okay, it looks... Maybe I was wrong. Okay, I think I was wrong about that. I think this is the canvas-based system, but it doesn't explicitly say so. I would assume this is... if I click on UI here and just make a panel, you can see it makes a canvas. And this is necessary for certain things, like if you have things in your game space as world objects. At least for now. Then immediate mode GUI. Immediate mode GUI system, also known as GUI, is an entirely separate feature to Unity's main game object-based UI system. GUI is a code-driven GUI system and is mainly intended as a tool for programmers. It is driven by calls on the GUI function on any script which implements it. Okay, so this is what we used before. Actually, think I'm the no, this is the wrong window. On GUI, this is what I currently use. So this is what they state. So this is you write code, and then you get this button here. And they say EMGUI is an alternative to the UI toolkit. But what they want to do is that the UI toolkit becomes the one toolkit for editor and runtime application. Yeah. Roles and skill set. If you're a programmer, EMGUI, but technical artist, UI designer, no. Unity UI. So what you're doing with the canvas, say, is partial for UI designer. I think because they think they say that UI designers are only familiar with CSS or more familiar with CSS, and that's why they say partial. And technical artist, he would have trouble with the UI toolkit, right? Technical artists who are familiar with Unity Game Engine tools and workflows are likely to be more comfortable working with game objects, components, and the scene view. They might not be comfortable with UI toolkit's web-like approach or EMGUI's pure C# approach. And then there's the programmer that is with this why I am where I am. I'm supposed to always know everything and can do everything. Yeah, programmer. Then you're supposed to do everything, of course. Okay, I'm going to the bathroom real quick. Be right back. Hi. Hi. But to understand how read them more, to always look at their tail. So the tail language actually showed from when she's swirling with the tail that she likes it. You always have to look at her whole body, but she's also very, very shy and nervous. And for some reason she's not into it. Maybe because I'm streaming and that's a little bit weird for her. Yeah, I think she's too excited. Okay, so let's leave her alone. And go on. I wanted to stream until 20 o'clock. So 50 minutes left just to decide what to do. I think with this documentation we can pretty much say whatever we want to do, we have to try the UI toolkit to future-proof ourselves for the future, because Unity says explicitly the UI toolkit is the way to do it in the editor, and you can actually see that the UI toolkit is supposed to replace the EMGUI system, but it's going to coexist with the Unity UI system. Why do I say that? So now there you see 3 UI systems here. These are the main toolkits that you can choose, where you can make a actual choice. Before it was like this. You had the EMGUI and Unity UI. Yeah? So you could make your UI here. For example, you have a panel, and this panel is now in your game, where people can touch and interact with it. And if you need a 3D object that is actually there, press it. That's the way you do that. And for editor windows, you have to write them like this. And when I started this, I think UI toolkit wasn't there. I started 2 years ago. So I think UI toolkit wasn't there. But EMGUI, my experience is okay. I didn't do that much with it, to be honest. When I tried to do stuff, I went, for example, across serialized properties, and I absolutely am not a fan of serialized properties because they seem to be not type safe, to break type safety inside of C#. In the end, I think we either also have to just make my bow and say, okay, if you guys want, if Unity wants me to use serialized properties I think they're a huge waste of time and they are not a good way to code, but in the end I need to make I want to make stuff, and Unity can just say, hey, if you don't like our stuff, you can just go. As I say, after this project, this will be my last asset is my last asset in Unity that I plan for. Yeah. After that, I want to finish my game and get on with other engines. Not going to say exactly what I want to do, because probably that's going to be in a year, and then I have to decide spontaneously what is then the next new big thing, which seems to be Unreal Engine, but there's also there are a lot of engines that you can choose from. They say the same here. Unity UI, use it if you need it in the 3D world. Also, easy referencing from mono behaviors. I think that's also nice to have. But I can't tell the whole story since I haven't referenced UI done with the UI toolkit yet, so I can't really come to a conclusion there. Oof, big oof. This is also a big oof. Oof. Because shaders for buttons are actually very, very neat. This is a big no-no. Absolutely big no-no. Oh, what are they doing? I think... yeah, UI toolkit is recommended for me because... of stuff. Yeah, and I'm going to work with the UI toolkit just so I can say I worked with this. Might be important if I want to get a job that requires me to be comfortable with the UI toolkit. I think it's quite niche yet, but as time goes on, the UI toolkit will become more and more essential. One thing that is bad though is that it doesn't allow customized shaders and material. I don't know if they intend to, but this is a big no-no. Because if you want to have an animation on this graph here, this is now, for example, in a pool where you have bubbles popping up, or some shader, the more damage you have, the more glow it does. Something with shaders. That's all requiring shaders to work with the UI toolkit, and you can't do this right now with the UI toolkit. So this is a big no-no. As much as all the other points that I said that I don't like about the UI toolkit. So the UI toolkit is just for programmers in the editor kit. For me, I and for people coming from web tech because they don't know other stuff, and it's an easier transition from one thing to the other. Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh dear. So it seems like this is a sneak peek from 2 years ago. And this is pretty much around the time there where I started programming my brush. No, I think that was 1 year ago. Yeah, one year ago. So I missed that out, but back then that was pretty new. So he says it's cool to create it via a text editor, and it says the UI builder that I think that's what we use is awful. What you see is what you get. Okay, then. Sounds like pain. So when you develop, you have instances in the UI builder, scene view, and game view, and it sounds like they're different instances. So you have to refresh them all. So, and then he says some rent. It's a pain to do anything that's not the most simple thing. Oh no! We are actually trying something that is not easy. So I'm going to love that. And we want to do a custom inspector. He specifically wants us that this will hurt. So he says, wait for now, but ignore it at your peril. It's peril. And that was a year ago. And my first impression is also my first expression was good until I tried to do anything with it. And that I really like that guy. I fucking hate anything web dev related. Keep that shit away from me. Thank you very much. Oh, there's a guy who actually says he thinks it's the best thing ever. Because he hates the canvas system. Okay. And he points out that it's mostly canvas. Unity is changing its UI system far too often. No, as the first time I ever saw them to implement anything. So he's been there since 2007. He says they really have trouble to just animate UI. Oh, that's interesting. I used UI toolkit to build a replacement for the tile palette. So that's oh no, that's super valuable for us. A lot of what I wanted to do was totally unsupported with the interface builder. So I had to learn the API and do all the UI construction of operation in C#. This is unsurprisingly a good way to learn the UI toolkit system. Let's say I have sqroot -1 interest in using UI system with USS, UXML, etc. But that's just me. I don't. There's also this guy. He says people are talking about the huge limitation with Canvas UI. I also don't see the huge limitations. We've worked with that in several projects for now. I've never missed anything. I mean, you basically want to do buttons, click on them and do stuff. On click, and that's why. And Canvas UI really does that well. Gives you immediately the functions that you need. What is the UI toolkit? Okay, I love that command. He says, life is too short to work with a UI toolkit. That's cool. And he says you have to fight it a lot, and it's a precompiled, for him it's a precompiled black box. But if it doesn't go your way, it gives you many rude gestures. Yeah. So 1 year ago, people said, first of all, most use the UI canvas, but that's a year ago. And I think it's obviously that when something is fresh and coming out, and people are working for years in a certain workspace, they don't just all switch to the UI toolkit. They stick to the canvas until their project is finished. I'm a little bit surprised that some say that they worked on multiple projects with it and they carry over their UI stuff. Like after a year, you can't normally do that many projects per year as a developer, especially as game developers. So that's weird. So I guess let's just start all over again and work with the UI toolkit. So here's our thing that we want to do. Here's what it's going to look like. So now I'm going to put my the tutorial over to my right side and just keep reading. Want to create your first UI with UI Toolkit? Use this basic UI Toolkit workflow example to get started. Note, for this demonstration purposes, this guide describes how to add UI controls for the editor UI. However, the instructions on adding UI controls to a UI document also apply to runtime UI. For more information, refer to get started with runtime UI. We don't want that. If you perform a specific task often, you can use UI Toolkit to create dedicated UI for it. For example, you can create a custom editor window. The example demonstrates how to create a custom editor window and add UI controls into your custom editor window with UI Builder, UXML, and C# script. You can find the completed files that this example creates in this GitHub repository. So we have a repository, and I hope this is what they are talking about. Yeah. So we also have our three classes here. Let's maybe create a folder for those three and say editor windows. Put them into that. We immediately get a bug. Okay, we have done it. Let's clear these and see when are they coming up. I don't see where the error did come from, but that's already a bad sign. Yeah, so for now, I'm going to go through the whole process with the custom edit UI toolkit, a new one, but it's going to be a slog. Just have the feeling. In the UI Toolkit editor window creator, enter simple custom editor. Let's look at that. They say right click in the assets, create. Let's delete then. Let's delete this. Start from the start again. See if that is going to give us an error. It doesn't. It's good. Let's say create UI toolkit. And then editor window. In the UI toolkit editor window, enter simple custom editor in the C# box. Now, is the name important? I don't think so. I want to have my own name for this. Create a tile map group. I think that's the name of the window. Create files only and open in UI builder. You could also open them in an external editor, like the one of JetBrains. You can add UI controls to your window in the following ways. Use the UI builder to visual add the UI controls. Use an XML like text file, or use C# script to add the UI controls. Actually, I will want to do that because we're programmers. So here we have our C# ripped. Should be popping up somewhere right now. I double clicked it, but I don't see it. So let's try that again. Okay, and here it is. All of a sudden. It says that it can add files to Git. We don't have this on Git, so I'm a little bit surprised by that. So there's something that I'm surprised about, and that is the naming convention is a little bit odd. I thought they are not using the the lowercase letter underscore style anymore. Seems like I'm wrong here. And JetBrains writer they says it has to be in this way. Let's just obey. Okay, so there's the first thing. It's a little bit odd. I have this root that is the root visual element. So this variable, I'm not sure if they should just maybe call it root then. It's a little bit odd. And with odd, I mean like, it would be better if they would just leave that out. But we have to do it this way, because we need to follow the example, and if we don't leave it, and if we don't do changes too early, we're probably going to mess up later. So, open the editor. control uses UI elements for controls like this and that. Change the text of hello world to something. No stream. Let's look if this actually does something. Oh yeah, it does. And we got a null reference. It's not a good start. So we got a null reference from something that was. We only got to change a string and we yeah, that doesn't make a good impression. It's not good. Because changing a string should not suddenly throw an error in another line of code. Now we don't know what this does exactly yet, because I haven't read the documentation so far. As I said, I think this is going to be a time sink. So it has root visual elements. The root visual element. To add UI controls to a window, first instantiate the element class with some attributes and then use the add methods of the root visual element. So this is the add function of the root visual element. To add UI controls to your window, first instantiate the element class. So I think this is the element class, I guess, with some attributes. Then use what attributes? What? There's some attributes. What attributes are they talking about? Is the label the attribute? I think that's an element on the visual element. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused about that one. So we know this is how we make it so that the thing pops up in the menu up here. We want to put it into custom functions though and name it setup time group though. No, we don't want that. Actually, we don't want that at all. But we want to keep this code for later. What we want is to have reference the window in this code. We want it to specifically work on these on a preset. Load that in. And then when you load it in the preset, we need to get the values for the preset or reference what kind of preset we're using. So I think it would be cool. Oh, there's some typo. Should be named group. So one thing that is really cool about that is we could just open this window, wait until the user has clicked on create, for example, and then since I think the user is going to work on a preset, we can just maybe read out what kind of preset he has been working on. Leave some questions. How are we going to how are we going to get information out of this window into code? So here we can see that the window create tilemap group has this new GRI content. I think this is what's standing here at the top. So let's maybe change that. Look if it's changing the description. Doesn't seem to be the case. Let's open the window again and we see that the description changed now. So that's what they meant with you have different inspectors, or refreshing is a little bit weird. Yeah. So we changed things in the window and we don't see the change occurring immediately. We have to close the window and open it up again. And we again get a null reference from this class that is automatically generated, and it's absolutely stupid. What? Oh no! Oh no! What I'm getting into? Yeah, so it looks like we are going to just work with some something. Because it's new and there's now the new way we're supposed to do it. But I'm 0% convinced that this is actually the next great perfect thing that's easy to write code with and work with. Because that's basically what I think is always great as a programmer to have. If you want to create a window with the custom inspector, if you can just do that. But maybe we can do that. We have a really easy case if things work. If we can just add this in here, this inspector in here, and have two buttons, create and cancel, then this is going to be very easy. But let's go on. We can maybe, that's the label of a visual element. No idea what this is. A visual tree asset. So some tree. Okay, let's at least add the two buttons, because I'm not doing lot of productive things. But if I wanted to be productive, it seems like I should use the UI toolkit, since everything about it says be careful with this. So we want to have two buttons. One is create, and then we want to have a second button. And that is cancel. Let's see what happens now. Oh, and we immediately see those two. That's interesting. So the only thing that I don't like is that they are not next to each other, like you would expect them to be. But that's okay for now. Since this is in the editor, it doesn't need to be pretty and the two buttons. I'd rather have them next to each other, but we can try to do that later. And they also add a toggle. We don't want a toggle. And then instantiate XML created automatically, which is set as the default visual tree asset. What is that? Would add instantiate a tree. So I think that's the same. No, it's not. So I think we don't need UXML yet. So UXML is basically XML, or what do you use XML for exactly? It's from the web development, I know that much. There's a warning. Visual tree asset. This is assigned but never used, so let's comment this out for now. Create a window. And this works. Okay, great. So 20 o'clock, damn it. And I feel like I've done nothing. Okay, let's change these two buttons up. So I've done two buttons here. That's great. But now we have done a lot of research. The research actually this time was more was better, because I could actually understand what we are doing and what the new UI toolkit is for. And I also found a way where I personally understand what we are doing by trying to make the UI that we are creating with code. It helps a lot because I don't really want to work with the UI builder yet, since I think for a visual clickable UI toolkit that is a little bit confusing, and it looks like a lot of functions still need some work before it is ready to be used by everyone. Currently, maybe it's good for people who work with XML or CSS, but even those people said in the forums that they work with an external text editor. So I guess that leaves behind all the people who don't code and don't do web tech. And that's why all these people also complain that they are whether using Canvas, or everybody who doesn't like web tech, like XML and HTML, XML. And I'm also one of those people. They say they'd rather not do that. They'd rather stay with the old systems. Yeah. But on the other side, it's an adventure, and sometimes you go on a road and you don't know where it takes you and how long it goes. You come across a lot of obstacles on the way, and I think the path we're going to walk here has a lot of question marks what we are going to encounter there. So it's how we are going to get going, and see you next time until we are going to continue our path. See you.